Where were we yesterday? We are here fixing external dependencies or external recipes, and there was one thing left to do where we had these, and they were a problem. Big problem actually. Because why? I think because of this, right? Yeah. We haven't dealt with the make shorthands. So let's do those, because those are still a problem. Like this, here's a problem. So what do we do? Do we just put them in the matches? Maybe. Kind of. I think I'll just do the band-aid solution right now, and then we do this differently. And we also still have to actually inject them here. It's also still missing. Because we need to put them somewhere here. Let's just try that first. So this is still an array here. Otherwise it's this. And you want this to be well, first a new line, and then for each thing in this it should be this, and stop with this, and then another two new lines, I guess. It also needs to be indented twice. So after each one we have like this. Where's that yellow? Hit start the server. What are you complaining about? What error log, what PHP errors? Ooh, right. What? Not arg list. For unpack. And what we get then? This is already fine. Okay, so we can get rid of that. That seems fine. But this should be other way around. First a new line and then indent it. Almost. Why use string? Well, that's wrong. And that should be fine, actually. Why do you not have expressions? Probably because... No, that doesn't make sense. We need to be here when this is the expression. What? Why are you not matching? Oh, that's why. That's the first one is made into this. So matches to. We could have strings in there. That's an issue. That is an issue. I think. Yeah, this one is wrong, I think. This is the recipe. This is wrong. Okay, so that is a problem. If I take this one out, it's still a problem. That's weird. I think we need to do this in 2 steps, basically. Because if we do the underscore is also a word character. That's bad. Do I need to make it like more greedy? Yeah, less greedy. If I now do this, that's still fine, right? If I have a second one here. Yeah, okay. So it needs to be you. We flew all the way past it because this doesn't match. This one was wrong. This is also wrong. Don't want to do that. So let's go back here. And this is wrong. Because M is a global. Only if this is contained in a vase do we want it. This is also wrong. So there should be an accessor. Yeah, there should be these in here. So what is the expression? The first one. This. Why is TS wrong? TS is this. String file with replacements. Expression is this. But it takes the replaced content. That's bad. It's just this here. That should be fine. Wait, this was already wrong. Let me go one up. I think the issue is that we should have globals here in the vars. And the funny thing is that this should still be an internal command. Maybe I just don't want to do all these things. But I'm going to need them for the images. That's where it's a little more complicated. This is also wrong. Oh. And it's kind of right in the replaced content. So one aspect that is definitely wrong is this should only happen with the magic variables. So what do we do? And it's correctly figuring out that this is not a global, which is good. For this is working fine. It's just this other stuff that is broken. Do you not find this? Oh, I don't have that. Which one was that? Translate protocols, okay. That's a little better. And this would even kind of work. What I would have to do here is I would have to take the original content and replace the var ID thing with the content. So content in this I want to replace I don't think that will work. Let's try it. We're going to try it out. So the thing that we just put in there, this one, we want to replace that. And that's the thing that we want to put in there. And what would the original be? Because in this case var0 is config, and we want to replace it with config because in this case it's correct. So we want to take basically do this. And explode the that'd be the same thing. I think we have to do it in original content, that's the difference. Original content, and then the first one. Kind of like this, I think. Good morning. And how are you today? Because I'm losing my mind. How about you? It's 5 a.m., so yes, this is morning. This is a morning. Yeah, EU. This is still broken. Also still broken. Let's pack these differently. Set what to full screen only? Are you trying to full screen an app in Windows? The game. Which game? Your own game? Are you trying to make a game? But yeah, I heard about that. Full screen, getting persistent full screen is somehow still black magic in Windows in 2025. So was actually, what was that? Ooh. No, come on. I think he had a point about apps still not being full screen in 2025. I probably can't find it now. Where was that? Here. One of my favorite moments too.
So it's just like a black window and I have to restart Steam to play the game. Then I manage to play the game, and then I alt tab out for a second to check something, and then now full screen is all messed up and the game's like up in a corner of a window, right? And then I have to restart the game to get full screen again. And then I'm watching some Counter-Strike. There was a really more reliable, longer-lasting store, and I'm able to actually download a game, but then when I go to the install window, it's just like a black window, and I have to restart Steam to play the game. Then I managed to play the game, and then I alt-tab out for a second to check something, and then now full screen is all messed up, and the game's like up in a corner of a window, right? And then I have to restart the game to get full screen again.
Yeah, it's a good talk. You should look at that. Has a long segment about just all the things that are consistently broken all the time, even though it seems like these are simple problems that should have been resolved in 2025, but nope, we don't do that. And I mean, the reason why I'm building my own software stack is because I want to get away from all of that. I'm not building desktop applications, but the same level of insanity is happening in the web. It's just even more poorly built, and I don't want to deal with any of that. Having a modern web stack is a recipe for even more insanity. No, I just want to get work done. That's my problem. My problem is I just want to work. I don't want to find all the requisite rain dances that are necessary to do even the most basic stuff. It's kind of insane. And there are good insanities. I don't want to do all the... I don't even know what to call it. I mean, just look at the talk. It's pretty good. He has another segment about what kind of knowledge you build. And there is a good kind of knowledge where you learn the fundamentals of programming and development and so forth. And then there is like, when this one thing works, you have to, in your engine, check a certain checkbox, but only in certain cases, and you have to remember that. And then half a year later, when the new version comes out, that knowledge is now useless because they changed another thing, and it's just endless streams of these kinds of... It's not even knowledge. It's like you learn the rain dance, and then the rain comes, and then you're kind of happy that it works, but deep down you kind of know that you didn't learn anything. You just you kind of learn to build around somebody else's mistakes, and that's not a good feeling. It's definitely not knowledge. It's something else. It's rain dance. Yeah, and then you ask the AI, and the AI gives you a very good and plausible response that was accurate half a year ago. And now the documentation that it was built upon is outdated. So you have to spend more tokens to have a better AI that figures out that the information that it was built upon is wrong, and it's bad. It's bad. And it's funny that especially programmers are so in love with AI. I mean, I use it as well, and I kind of like it, but I know the limitations. Yeah. We just stay stuck in the same context window that the AI is stuck in, and now everything will work. And if only developers could leave things be and not change stuff all the time, then that would be a good plan. Yeah. Let's just do Windows 98. That's all you're going to need. Oh, there are probably still a bunch of viruses around that deal with Windows 98, I think. But in many places you can't get certain things to run. It's just all planned obsolescence at this point. There's layers and layers of planned obsolescence. And I sometimes on Twitter read people who were madly in love with vibe coding with the latest AI, and it gets you like the first 80% work beautifully, and then everything falls apart. Yeah, I sometimes go on Twitter. I often debate with myself whether I should stop, especially after the last days. After they neutered Grok. Did you see that? I had a tweet with 2 likes on that. Imagine that. Like, imagine having a Neuralink transplant. Yeah, right. Just go further down the line of digestion, basically, and then you get it on Reddit, where it does not have any kind of ideological bent or anything. When Twitter is like the raw undercurrent of the human subconscious right now, and that's why it's so toxic. And then they build an AI on top of that, you know? And weirdly enough, the AI goes rogue. Imagine that. Yeah. Who would have thought? Well, we did not just predict this, we lived through it with Tay, you know? Tay was the same thing. It didn't take long for Tay to go racist, or whatever standard of racism is these days, but nope. Maybe we should just come to terms with racism and not try to always try to make the AI not be racist. I mean, it's the same thing in programming. If you always pretend like certain things don't exist, you just go into endless loops of trying to pretend like things don't happen when they clearly do happen. And over engineering and over bureaucratization of programming is definitely a thing. And it doesn't matter how good the AI can deal with all this. It's just, if you don't solve the root cause, then you will have the problem all the time. And my tagline is always, the only solution to problems is to not have them in the first place. There is no other true solution to problems. You have to avoid them entirely. And trying to avoid racism is kind of a lost cause. Especially if it's so intermingled with just basic pattern recognition. Yeah, that too, definitely. It's like a fundamental problem space that we just have to deal with. I mean, people are like that. People sometimes just say, well, let's just pretend we're already living in the utopia that we imagine for ourselves. And that's where you get into politics. And that's why nothing works in politics. Because you have a large camp of utopists who pretend like we should all already live there. And, yeah. In the last instance, that's why you get so many people comfortable with human extinction. that's where that thought takes you. Oh yeah, that's the secret, right? The secret. The secret is you just have to pretend harder. So we just have to all now pretend a little harder, and then everything will work out. And I think it's the old 80-20 rule there as well. It gets you the first 80% of the way, and the other 20% are now impossible. You just build an LLM into the compiler, right? That should be just a compiler stage. I mean, it can't make the Rust compiler any slower. Maybe there already is an LLM in the Rust compiler. Yeah. You have to just reformat your code in a way that the LLM likes it. Or that you gaslight the LLM, as you say. Maybe our future is just arguing with artificial intelligence all day long and pretend like it's a solution while we're actually just replacing what we did before. And before we were just all the time arguing with humans. So real, not artificial intelligence. Oh yeah, that's brain fog, right? The language. Just do less. Yeah. I wonder if ChatGPT can interpret that code language. That would be fun. And then you use like cursor, and all the problems that you had debugging readable code is now in unreadable code. But you won't notice that because you can't read it yourself. So you just, I think that's what you were going for. As long as you can't possibly tell that the AI is wrong, then the AI will always be right. I'm actually not sure about that, because AI is token based, and that's the, like, brain fuck is only tokens. It just like it's like 4 characters or 6 characters or something. That's all there is. It's all tokens all the way down. 8, yeah. I mean, it probably makes the AI faster, because it only has to deal with 8 tokens. Hang on, let's test this actually. Well, not Bing, come on. Let's take a program and so this is the code. This is a hello world. That's probably the training data, right? Hang on. What does this program do? Let's see. It's thinking. It knows that it's a brainfuck program. It looked like it's gibberish. It figured out that it's the canonical hello world, I think. That's what I was worried about. The canonical hello world code. Do you see it flickering too? Huh. It's in the training data. Oh. Sad. Let's do example program. The basics of brainfuck. We have something complicated somewhere down here. I'm guessing that all this will also be the training data. Do you see them calling it an esoteric language? Let's try this one. It's thinking again. Because the UI is telling me that it is it's thinking. Let's write a simple brainfuck interpreter. One of the goals that I actually have with the system I'm building is that I want the entire concept of the engine and the explanation of the engine to fit into a context window. Because the thought is that that will let the AI actually do a good job. Yeah, it did figure it out, that it's a self-containing program. I wonder whether that's still training data. You never know. You never know. But I'm building this explanation somewhere. Where do I have that? Writings, maybe. The interesting thing about all of this is that the same problem that makes programming so hard or to the same extent that programming is hard to an LLM, it's the same thing for humans. So to make an LLM better, you actually have to make the thing more understandable. So that's kind of the gamble that I'm making. And maybe that will pay out. Why do I have this here? Where are you? You are here. So this is kind of one of the first things that I will render with this web engine is a page that explains the engine. And that explains that you have templates and expressions and everything should be in one documentation page to give you all the basics. And I know that I have succeeded when I can give that to an LLM and have it print out a project that uses this engine. And that might, this is still an experiment, but that might mean that I have done a good job. Because it's kind of simple, and even the implementation is very simple. You still have like what's that? Library. The core of it is like 4,000 lines, and then the hypermake is 3,000 lines. So it's not that much code. And maybe you can even use this explanation. The other level of the test would be if by that explanation the LLM can generate the engine for you. Because that would mean I wouldn't have to open source it, which I don't want to do. Because I think there is too much code, and I don't want to contribute to that. But for that, I still have to make it work. Unfortunately. Maybe I should only work on the explanation. And I only succeed when I can have ChatGPT write it for me. That's what I should do. And give in to the AI. But that wouldn't be fun, you know? I like programming. I'm just bad at it. That's the problem. I know, yeah. We should all just lay down and let the AI take over and revel in the end of civilization. I've been programming now for 16 years, and I'm starting to get the feeling that I'm not that bad. So that's how long it takes. 16 years in light mode, yeah, I know. I actually have it's a half of an excuse. I actually like light mode, but I have this weird visual thing where if I look at white on black text, it kind of burns into my retina, and I always see ghost images then. But also, you know what the trick is? There are two things that you need to do to make light mode work. First, you have to scale down the brightness of your screen, and then you don't have to, and then you have to not live in a cave. That's the solution. You have to go into the light to enjoy light mode. Yeah, I know. It's not cave compatible. We have to go out of a cave. That's a cave meme, right? Yeah, this. See, this is even kind of wrong. Because these days, oh, look, it's Reddit. Do you see me using old Reddit? It's the only Reddit that still works. But this is actually wrong. Because it's actually it's old and light mode. What's the display mode? So this is wrong. What we have these days is actually is this. I'm going there. And this is where I am, up here. When you're not living in a cave anymore and you have fully embraced light mode. Let's tweet this actually. Come on. We're going, no, not the cursor, come on. No, that's what you have to do to make people angry about it. Actually, we have to do a worse job. Hang on. This is, I'm going to discard this. Have to make it a different font, like monospaced. Let's use a bad font. Monospace. Oh, it looks too good. Or let's use like impact or something. Ugh. What's a bad monospaced font? Why do I have so many fonts? This one. And then you have to like, you also have to make this kind of bad. Because the crucial component in memeing is to do a bad job. I still don't want a cursor. This is good. Send it. And then never save it. Nope. You're learning so much today. And I'm not getting any work done. But it's fine. It's fine. I just need to stream longer, you know. I only stream like an hour or two each morning. What? 7%? Well, if your company is only worth like $1,000, then that's a good deal. And my company is worth $0 right now. So that's like infinite amount of percentage more value that I could get out of it. But the thing you forgot is that I'm in the EU, and that wouldn't be $100,000. That would be like 5,000 euros. And you can hardly buy anything for that. Europe is so cooked, man. Yeah. Or at least the cheeseburger wouldn't be poisoned, you know. It's still poison, though. You can get a cheeseburger, obviously. And I think the ingredients will probably be of higher standard than in the US. Because RFK is not done yet. He has not replaced all the seed oils with tallow. But then you also have to replace the seed oils in the buns. And you have to replace the glyphosate in the lettuce. I don't even know what a cheeseburger costs, honestly. Yes, we do have them, and this is why our economy is so broken. Because, like in the US, we think you can solve everything with regulations. Which is kind of true, but you're not solving the cultural problem. And nobody has found a way to solve cultural problems with politics. Because politics are downstream from culture. Yes, I do. And this is why programming sucks. I just hope that in like 10 or 20 years' time, we've grown out of this phase, and maybe AI will help with that, but I'm not sure. Yeah, right. It's this old meme. Right. Because now there are 15 languages. How many do we have? Look, between 250 and 8,000. That's the level of artificial intelligence that you get these days. The answer is a lot. That's all you get. Yeah. And I'm using PHP. Imagine that. It's almost the worst language. It would be the worst if there wasn't JavaScript. And there is like this infinite battle between JavaScript and PHP to figure out who's the last rung of the ladder. And the only reason why PHP is better because it has a good standard library. And in JavaScript you have like string pad as a library. And then the library gets compromised. And you pushed to production on a Friday, and now your weekend is you trying to mitigate the damage that has been done by somebody hacking into your infrastructure by the way of a JavaScript library. When in PHP you just have that in the standard library. Yes. And you are the junior developer. That's the crucial point. A senior developer has broken production and then left for the weekend on a vacation, and now you have to figure that out. And the intern is just going to use ChatGPT, which would actually be an improvement to replace the dependency on a library with just code that ChatGPT prints out. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should have a rogue AI replace the entire JavaScript ecosystem, so the library ecosystem, with generated code. But that would mean that JavaScript developers would have to deal with code, and they just like to glue blocks together. It'll work, but not for long. And then you might as well give the company over to an AI, and people are doing that. Yeah. And they might do a better job. I mean, there are parts of company management that can definitely be improved upon by using AI. But the problem with AI is that you need clean input. And we don't have that. We just have fallible humans doing a surprisingly good job on bad input. And the AI is not there yet. It is fallible, but it has a desperate input problem. So it's a signal problem, and we are not improving the signal. This is doubly funny because I actually started out being more in the graphics design category than in programming. I just grew into programming and found out that I actually like it more than graphics design. I always thought that programming was so hard, and it kind of is. But if you leave out all the bullshit, then it's actually enjoyable. Yeah. But isn't this is one of my favorite jokes? Is that we told so many people that they need to learn to code, like all the truck drivers that were supposed to be replaced first when the robots take over. All these programmers and graphics design people who are so certain that they are going to be replaced last. And we still have truck drivers. Not for long. That will be replaced as well. But the first ones we are replacing is actually all the graphics designers and the programmers. So now who needs to learn to code? It's a brave new world all over again. And all the soma in the world will not deal with our pain. And fundamentally, it will come down to how many of the people who still enjoy doing things will continue to do things. Yeah. One of the reasons why I'm not getting much code done in the last days is because I think in these times you kind of go in and out of a depression that many people know about, which is the why bother doing anything depression. And AI has certainly supercharged that. So yesterday I went through the last comedy special by Bo Burnham, Inside. And he kind of nails it. He nails this fundamental existential depression of our modern age. And his conclusion is that you should stay inside. You should basically become Asmongold and just kind of seek humor in the demise. So it's very dark. Not sure whether you've seen it. It's pretty good, but it'll do a number on you in terms of depression. And the reason why I still stream and still develop is because I think that the only way that humans will succeed is to the degree that they just stubbornly still do things. Because that's when it all comes down, that's what makes the difference. Whether you are fundamentally a person who does things and likes to do things. So either you are that or you're not. And if you are not that, then you should become a JavaScript developer and just do everything with the languages and AI, with the libraries and AI. And that's the existential battle that we're in right now. But I don't know what the world will look like in 2 years. I started working I started working on this 7 years ago, and I had a 2.0 version of this 2 years ago, and then around that time, so like in the height, no, more like 3 years ago, it was like the height of the COVID era. Around that time, I had the crucial ideas for the 3.0 version of this. And right around the time that AI became usable, I started actually getting back to working on this. So that was an existential question whether it suddenly turned into an existential question whether I even want to bother doing this. Yeah, I think it was COVID plus AI. COVID kind of killed a crucial component of cultural cohesion. And then came AI. So all this impulse to not even bother doing something on the social level and on the production level, these two things have completely ruined society. And we are now in the era where we have to figure out whether we still have enough people who still want to do things to stave off eternal doom. And as always, we're doing everything for the right reasons, and nobody's checking the results. We are so good, we are so moral, we are so empathetic all the time, and everything's turning to shit. And nobody's checking. Nobody's checking. We are not checking the output of the AI, and we are not checking whether all these utopian ideas that we follow, all these ideologies that are so important to us, we are not checking the results. We just know that we are all very unhappy. I mean, I'm not unhappy. I just recognize that that's happening in society. I actually have a very good life. I like my existence I like it a lot. I have a nice family and friends and stuff, but I just see all the downfall full speed ahead. So the one thing that I always come back to is maybe what I should do is I should get a cottage somewhere on the Åland Islands, and just watch. You only have to solve like the energy problem. Then you get Starlink, and then you go fishing. I don't like fish though. I would have to have cows and eat them. But there's a nice cottage here. Like live here. Check into Twitter once a day and feel justified in having exited society. That's a good point. Can I have the AI turn fish into meat? You probably can do that, right? Yeah, why not? Yeah. The only problem with Åland Islands is that it's a Scandinavian. It's on the coast of Finland, and I couldn't convince my family to go there. But maybe it just hasn't gotten bad enough yet. Yeah, that's where we should be. Here. I want to be on that porch right there. Oh, they're already doing that, right? Embodying AI. That would be my sink. I cook my meat on this platter here. I still have to solve the cow problem. I need cows and pigs. And chicken. You can get a long ways with chickens too. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. It's kind of a hard task to figure out where you would be safe from all this. Yeah. That is true. I mean, Grok got it far ways into that, didn't it? They did a pretty good job. Look at that porch. Why is it so small? Hang on. Look at that porch. With your little umbrella. It's probably not even that windy there. But the problem is, like, 8 months out of 12, you're living in winter with not that much sunlight. But it's a problem if you're using light mode. I want to go here. Maybe next year for a vacation I want to go there. It's kind of accessible for me. I'm over here. And you just have to make your way somewhere to the coast here and then take a ship up here. And then you go to Lumpaland. That's where the Oompa Loompas live. Loompaland. I honestly looked for, like, vacation cottages in Loompaland as a meme and get my family there. Yeah, I know. It's so great. Golby. Golby is next to Goldby. They just changed like one consonant there. Yeah. Do I have like a... It's just meadows and Swedish looking houses. It's pretty nice. And I most like to look at these bridges where you go over the water. Imagine driving over this bridge. Yeah. But this is my peak escapism, the Åland Islands. I should go there next year or something. I still have to convince my family though. It's even north of Stockholm. The problem is that, like, Sweden is a socialist hellscape to a certain degree. And, to the extent that all of Europe is kind of a socialist hellscape, Sweden is certainly up there. And Finland is a little better, and Åland Islands belong to Finland. Yeah, don't just stay out of the big cities is the solution. The big cities are usually the problem because that's where the culture is most fractured. Yes, stay inside. That's what Bo Burnham says. It's a beautiful day to stay inside. You have to go to Mars. You have to hop on a spaceship and go to Mars. And clearly Mars will be better, right? Once humans arrive there. We should make like a bet on how long it will take until we even ruin Mars. Oh, Pluto is too cold. I mean, Mars is already too cold. But on Pluto you don't even have proper sunlight. It's a problem. What's this island here? Probably one lighthouse on there. You don't even have a street view here. Merketaleur. Yeah, probably. It's again a cultural question whether we will get to Mars or not. I mean, our chances are as good as they have ever been, even a little bit better. But like 10 or 20 years ago, before Starship, we didn't have any chance. Just need a weird guy to be obsessed with rockets. Aren't there like theories that we have, was it the moon? I think there are moon rocks on Earth because, no, wait, was that the moon split off from Earth? But there, I think, are theories that like an asteroid impact on Mars got Mars particles on Earth or something. I forgot. I'm not sure. I think the rover would have found more biologicals on Mars if that was true. But maybe we haven't dug deep enough yet. Maybe. I think it did have an atmosphere, yeah, but probably not enough to sustain life. You need the level of heat that you have on Earth for proper water and stuff. I think. I'm not sure. I think I want to try to get one more thing done now. So let's choose. Do we want to do these? Or do I want to fix the external jobs? This is also kind of broken because these are wrong. Do we? Where do we place this? We have this. This is fine. So we should be able to use this actually for the protocol unpacks. Problem is that prereqs is an array. So if for the target we can just straight up put it in there. So we take the protocol unpacks, move them down up here. And then we will, for this here, if we have this string, we will add a protocol unpack like this. And then this would be our name. This and protocol unpacks would be this, but only for the target. If the R name is prereqs, then we want to do what? We want to array walk this, I think. Yeah. No, we also have to rewrite the variable then. Right? No, don't have to rewrite that, it's fine. Because we get it from this one here. But the replacement value, this one, but it's mirrored in this one. So this should be this protocol unpack, and then this. Okay, so for this it's fine, but for this we have to first set it to this value and then run over it. So this would be this, and then we would have to array walk with this function. That's the callback. That's this, and we have to put this in there, I think. This might actually work. I have to close it though. And then we'll indent it nicely. Like this. And then see whether we get a result. That looks better. Yeah, this is fine. This is unpacked now. This is still... Oh god. Go back here. I don't want to have these many new lines. So this and this. And now I mean, this is wrong, but it will work because there won't be a protocol in there. But I don't like it. They should have figured out that this is wrong. Do we even need that? Maybe we don't even need that. Maybe all this code was useless. Because I kind of only need it for these global things. We still have to unpack these in the recipe. So if I leave this one out, this still works. But I had this one point oh, this is actually still right. It just didn't find out that this is a global. So I fixed that as well, which is good. Why though? Because I don't do this. Okay, so we can't fix that. We just comment out this. Ah, this is still wrong though. It shouldn't be replacing these, I think. No. That's not what we want. We still do need to resolve it. But why is it doing this? Oh, because I put this in. That shouldn't be necessary. Only if it's in vase. I don't have vase here. Wait. Where do I make vase? Up here, okay. So that's kind of fine. And I guess this is in vase. Maybe I'll leave it in. Yeah, we'll leave it in for now. It's fine. It'll work. It'll just look bad. It's fine. think this will be it for today. This will be it. So I've got to go back to actual work. I will be back tomorrow morning with finally dealing with the CSS here. Until then, I have to work. Take care. Bye bye.